Good morning and welcome to the Daily Cyber Briefing for Tuesday, the 15th of October. I'm Stephen Ridgway. There is a vulnerability in the WordPress Jetpack plugin, which has been patched. However, it affects something in the region of 27 million sites. So Jetpack is a plugin that offers a comprehensive suite of tools to improve site safety, performance, and traffic growth. So very commonly used. The vulnerability in question, just checking for its CVE number, and actually unbelievably can't find it at the moment. However, it has been patched. So, there are 101 different versions of Jetpack, which have now been patched. So, looks confusing. If you're using Jetpack, would very much strongly recommend that you patch. Yeah, check. As always with things in the WordPress arena, even if you've set plugins to update themselves, always worth going in and having a check. We have seen over the years numerous occasions where parts of WordPress which were supposed to auto-update weren't auto-updating and needed to be kicked, nudged, or whatever. Some of that was because of cascading dependencies, which for one reason or another hadn't been properly met for the upgrade, the patch to be applied. Definitely have a look. There are 27 million websites out there that 27 million websites out there that are potentially vulnerable. Then definitely worth ensuring that that you understand this. As the information is now out there, expect that the number of potential attacks will increase. This vulnerability, by the way, has been around since version 3.9.9, which was released in 2016. So it's been a long time coming for this patch, although I'm not quite sure when the vulnerability itself was identified. And the article in Hacker News that I came across hasn't actually, I can't easily see what the CVE number is for this vulnerability. Don't worry, read the article. If you're using Jetpack, have a look, see about getting your particular stream updated. Okay, and then one vulnerability for which I do have the CVE number to hand is a vulnerability in Veeam, which is actively being exploited by ransomware gangs. So the article I found from Information Security Buzz is referring to an alert issued by the NHS England's National Cyber Security Operations Centre. And it is for Veeam's backup and replication software, vulnerability CVE 2024-40711. Allows remote code execution and has a CVSS score of 9.8. Could allow unauthenticated attackers to execute remote code on target systems. As in, that's a bad thing. If you are using Veeam backup software and you think you might be potentially vulnerable to vulnerable to attack on this vulnerability, again, very much the thing to do is to uh, look at this, make sure that if you can patch, you have patched. If not, you can look to see if there are mitigating controls that you can put in around this. Obviously, if an attacker is going to be sending remote code execution attacks to this Veeam instance, the Veeam instant has to be on a network which they have access to, for example. So, all the obvious things. Make sure you segregated your backup software. As a general architectural point, make sure you've segregated your backup environment properly from the rest of your operational or business environment, so that in the case of a compromise, your backups are not amongst the first set of things that get hit, along with everything else that's on your general office network or general operational network. So have a look at this if you're using Veeam. Veeam is very popular, as I'm sure anybody out there who's using it knows. It's very popular, very good solution. However, this particular vulnerability needs to be patched ASAP. And then finally from me today, in the category of, I guess it's not surprising, but I hadn't thought of this. Multiple robot vacuum cleaners in the US have been hacked and used to shout obscenities and insults at their owners via onboard speakers. Sorry, you heard the laugh in my voice then. It's not funny. Well, it is funny. I mean, could you imagine your vacuum cleaner swearing at you? This is not the first time that robot vacuum cleaners have been compromised. The thing to bear in mind is that a robot vacuum cleaner has a fair amount of tech on it that makes it quite an interesting target for attackers. They tend to have things like cameras on them. They may well have microphones if they're the sort of device that you can give commands to. They will probably have speakers in order to, confirm actions or to do whatever. So you've got a roving device with a camera, potentially with a microphone and a speaker, which can then spy on you. Interesting thought. The potential for mischief, the potential for actually quite serious compromise is rather high, I think, at the moment. A lot of these robot vacuum cleaners, even if they come from fairly reputable organisations or organisations that have got a fair amount of market share, there isn't much in the way of information that a user can get or a potential purchaser can get around how secure the data is. They run off apps, right? So somehow the vacuum cleaner and the app are talking to each other. Well, they're talking to each other over a network. They're unlikely to be talking directly to each other across your home network. They're much more likely to be talking via a server somewhere. So where's the server? How secure is the server? How can, there are so many questions in this space. Now, robot vacuum cleaners, apart from spying on you, are unlikely to be able to do that much damage. But the amount of information that they could pick up might be fine. And you've got to bear in mind that there are a swathe of nation-state adversaries who just want to hoover up as much information about as many people as possible. And they will then work out later what they do with this stuff. It makes for a one level amusing reading. At another level, you really got to think carefully about the security of Internet of Things devices. Smart TVs again. You may well have an Alexa kicking around. Most people have got, an Alexa, or they've got some Siri or whatever it may be. This stuff, despite what the vendors say, this stuff is legitimately listening to you, let alone if, as in this particular case, there was a means by which you could circumvent authentication and compromise the device itself. So definitely one to think about. I have, for example, I did once, back in the day, turn up to the SOC in the morning, checked in with the SOC team to find an Alexa sat on the desk in the SOC in this particular organisation. And when asked, the SOC analyst said, "Oh, they just like to listen to music overnight." Yes, rapid re-education was applied to that particular group for the for the very reason that, yes, it's sat in your SOC listening to what you're doing. Crying out loud. It's all this stuff is going on. Anyway, look, that's enough from me for today.